Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about multiplication, right? Now, if you do not know your multiplication tables, you're going to need to start practicing those if you haven't already. Now, if you get to the test and you do not know, let's say 8 times 6, you're going to have to use some type of strategy to find the answer. Don't sit there and count on your fingers because you're going to get it wrong because you can miscount. So write it down. Either do multiple addition if you absolutely have to, draw a model, do rows and columns, groups, whatever it is that you have to do in order to get the right answer, knowing that's going to take you a lot longer if you don't know 6 times 8 equals 48 off the top of your head. Okay? But at least make sure that you have that answer correct, because you can use whatever strategy that we've been talking about all year, but if you don't have the multiplication correct, you're not going to have the correct answer. So that's all I'm going to say on that. Now we're going to go into the actual strategies that we can use to solve multiplication problems. Now, for a multi-digit number times a one-digit number, you have 2 options. You can either use an area model, which would have the rectangle and then the different pieces cut into it for however many digits you have, or you can use place value. We're going to start with the area model, and in order to do that, we have to cut our rectangle into boxes that we are going to be able to use to multiply correctly. So now, inside of these boxes, we have to do multiplication. But the first thing we have to do is we have to put our numbers up at the top and on the side. So our number that we're multiplying by the single digit goes up here. But we're using the value of the number, not just the 2. The 2 is actually 2,000 because the 2 is in the thousands place. So we're doing 2,000 plus 700 because the 7 is in the hundreds place. So it's 700 plus 60 and then plus 4. And all of that is being multiplied by 3. So we have our equation, or our expression, sorry, which is 2,000 times 3. Remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. An equation does. 700 times 3, 60 times 3, and then 4 times 3. Using each digit in the box that it's touching. So I'm not going to put the 2,000 over here or the 4 over here. It has to be touching, and every single one of these lines is a 3, because you're multiplying every single one of these digits by 3. So now remember our trick. We have 3 zeros here, so we're going to put those 3 zeros down so we don't forget. And then we do 3 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6, so that answer is 6,000. We have 2 zeros here, so we're going to do 1, 2 zeros. 3 times 7 is 21, so I have 2,100. 60 times 3, I have 1 0. 6 times 3 is 18, so I have 180. And then 4 times 3 is 12. Now what do I do with all these numbers? I have to add them up. So I have 6,000, 2,100, 180, and 12. Now remember to keep all of your numbers in their place values, because if you accidentally put this 100 into the thousands place, you're going to be adding 900 to your actual answer, because you don't have a 1,000 here, you have 100. Okay, so make sure everything is in line with the place values. So when you add it all up, you have 2, 9, 2, and 8. Okay? Now, Your other way that you can do multiplication is by using place value. So you have 2,764 being multiplied by 3. Now you're going to see the same numbers being used over and over and over again here, okay? So we have 4 times 3, which is 12. So we have our 2, carry the 1. 6 times 3 is 18. But we must add the 1 after we multiply the 6 and the 3. You don't add the 1 to the 6. You don't add the 1 to the 3 and then multiply. You must add the 1 after you already have your product. So we have 18 plus 1, which is 19. 9, carry my 1. 7 times 3 is 21. Plus 1 is 22. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. These two are the same number. So you get the same answer no matter which way you go about it. It's whichever one you are more comfortable with. Got it? Alright, so let's go to our first problem. Ezekiel has 3 building sets. Each set includes 1,125 pieces. How many pieces are in all 3 sets? Okay, so you need to either use your area model or place value, whichever one you are more comfortable with. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice, okay? So go ahead and write it out, either area model or place value, and then when you're done, pause it and come back. So here you have the 3 building sets, and each set has 1,125 pieces. Okay? So because he has 3 sets, and each set has this many pieces, we know we're going to be multiplying because it says each, and it says in all. Okay? Now each could mean division, but because we see in all, we know that's multiplication. So we have 1,125 being multiplied by 3. Now, depending upon if you did it place value or area model, that's your preference. Again, you're going to get the same answer as long as you multiply correctly. So 5 times 3 is 15, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 3 times 1 is 3, and again 3. So he has 3,375 pieces. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at double-digit multiplication. Okay? So if you have a number like 15 times 24, again, you can use area model or you can use place value. Now our area model here is going to be a square. Okay? So I'm going to draw a square for us. And then I'm going to cut it right here into the rectangles that we need so that we can very nicely go ahead and multiply. So now with area model, remember you still have to have these numbers on the top and on the side. Okay? So you can do whichever one on top that you want. I'm going to use the first number up here, so I'm going to do 15. So I'm going to do 10 plus 5, and then 20 plus 4. And again, you use the numbers that are touching the boxes. This number is the same down here. This number is the same down here. 4 is the same here as it is here. And 20 is also over here. So we put down our expressions, which here would be 20 times 10. Here we have a 5. So we're multiplying that by 20. We have 4 here being multiplied by 10. And then we have 5 times 4. We're using this and this. 5 and 4. Then we use our same strategy, our same trick, as we did with the 4-digit number times the 1-digit number. So I have 1, 2 zeros, So I'm going to put those 2 zeros down here. 2 times 1 is 2. So 20 times 10 is 200. 5 times 20, I have 1 0. And then 5 times 2 is 10. Do you see why we put the 0 there first? Because you could get confused. Oh, I already have a 0 there. But that's the 5 times 2. Okay? 10 times 4, we know is 40. And then 5 times 4 is 20. And then the same thing, we have to add all these guys up. So we have 200, 100, 40, and 20. So we're going to add all these guys up. I have 0, 6, 3. So 15 times 24 equals 360. Now if you want to use place value, you can do that. 15 times 24. So first, you ignore this 2. Okay, we're going to use our ones place first. 5 times 4 is 20. So I have my 0, carry my 2. So I'm going to multiply just like I would with a 2-digit number times a 1-digit number. And then 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Now here's where it's different. I now need to be multiplying the 2 times the 15. But the 2 is really 20. So what we have to do, since we're done with the ones place, we have to put a placeholder here. Because 2 times 5 is 10, but this is really 20 times 5. So 20 times 5 is 100. But since we have this 0 here, we can just do 2 times 5, which is 10. Oops, sorry, I put that in the wrong spot. 0, carry my 1. I no longer need the 2, so I'm crossing that off. And then 2 times 1, which is 2, plus 1 is 3. Add that all up. And so I have 360. Same answer as I have here. Okay. So whether you have the area model or you have place value, either one will work. It's whichever one you are more comfortable with. Eventually you're going to get to place value. But if you're more comfortable with area model right now, go ahead and use it. Okay? So now we're going to do an example. Here. Folding chairs are set up in a school auditorium for a play. There are 16 rows of chairs, each with 28 chairs. How many folding chairs are there? Okay, so we're talking about rows and how many in each row. Since we don't have a total number of chairs, we know it's not division. Because remember, division, you have to have the total. So you guys are going to go ahead and multiply, because you have 16 rows and 28 chairs in each row. Okay, so you're trying to find out how many folding chairs are there. So go ahead, multiply that, come back and see if you're right. Alright, so here I did the area model already, and I showed you what numbers that you should have inside of your boxes. Okay, now I'm going to show you place value and what all of these add up to. So 8 times 6 is 48. 6 times 2 is 12. Remember, we're adding the 4 to the 12, so that makes it 16. Now we're done with the ones place, so I'm going to put a placeholder here so that I can go to my tens place, where the 1 is. Now 1 times 8 is 8, but remember the 1 is like a 10. That's the value of it, it's 10. 10 times 8 is 80. So when you put your 8 here, you have 80. Okay? Now we're not using that 4, so we're going to cross it off. 2 times 1 is 2. So I'm going to add these guys up. 8 plus 0 is 8. 6 plus 8, remember we are adding, is 14. And then 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So your answer is 448. And if you added all these guys up, that is what you would get as well. Okay? So now you guys are going to do some on your own. I'm going to show you your questions, And this is what you're going to be bringing back to class. So bring these problems back to class so that I can see that you did it, and then you'll get your Boggy Bucks. You're going to do this problem, which is a 2-digit by 2-digit. So since I already used those two numbers, instead of redoing this entire video, we're just going to change the numbers. So instead, we have that there are 28 trays, each with 32 sandwiches. So forgive me for my mistake. Please go ahead and do this problem, not the other one, because I already did that one, so that's not going to be any help to you. Do this one and bring this one back to class. I do have one more example for you, which is going to be the 1-digit times multi-digit. So pause this video when you're done with the 28 and the 32. Come on back, press play, and then do your next one. Here is your next one. Okay. So when you are done with this one, make sure that you bring them in. Just watching the video is not going to give you as much help as if you actually do the work. So please, do these problems, bring them in, I can check them, make sure you're good, and you can get your Boggy Bucks, okay? So, when you're done, whatever else you're gonna do, I've got more videos. If you wanna watch some more, take a break. I will see you guys in class.